Welcome back to another episode of the Prep Baseball Iowa Canicorn Podcast. Canicorn Podcast, the only podcast from Iowa baseball with Rob Allison and Parker Hageman. I'm Parker Hageman. Over there, Rob Allison. Rob, how are you?
I am good. Survived Halloween, ready to rock and roll.
How much extra candy or acquired candy do you have in your household now?
I honestly think it's all gone. The kids absolutely pillaged everything, and there might be dust in the Halloween bowl, and that's about it.
What did we decide was your go-to grab? You said you're a mini Snickers guy?
I do like mini Snickers.
Okay.
And I like Twix.
So,
and I like Reese's peanut butter cups.
All of your sons went to go look for those things and they were gone the next morning, right?
Allegedly. There's no proof. Other than the disappearance of the candy, there's no proof in regards to where it went.
Very ninja of you. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been accused of that quite a few times. Built more like Kung Fu Panda. But yeah, if you want to call me ninja, that's cool.
All right, well, we got another fun episode for everybody. We got a special guest, Rob. Why don't you give him the rundown?
Absolutely, we're really excited to have Coach Todd Rima, head baseball coach at Kirkwood Community College, and looking forward to talking to him and learning more about Kirkwood, the Fighting Eagles, and the way and the life of the juggernaut of the ICAC conference down here in Iowa. Welcome, how are you today, Coach. Todd? What's going on?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having us on. We enjoy obviously talking baseball at any time, but a chance to talk about our program with two great baseball guys like you means a lot to us. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coach, kind of give us a little snapshot of your background. I know ultimately you and I are going to probably age ourselves relatively quickly. We've at least been aware of or known each other probably close to 30 years.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. But tell us about your background. Born and bred, who is Coach Rima?
Yeah, sure. I grew up in Owine, Iowa, played for a Hall of Famer and Steve Sanders. Got very fortunate to play for a great high school coach. Learned a lot from him. Played for Dave Schrag at the University of Northern Iowa. Got really lucky that he hired me as a assistant coach right out of college. There's days that you want to ask him, like, how did you make that decision? Maybe it was the pay at the time, what they could pay, but got very fortunate to get my start there. I was there for 3 years, worked with Dave Schrag, and then had a chance to work with Rick Heller, and we all know what Rick Heller's done for the state of Iowa in baseball. So very fortunate to learn from two great baseball people and just great people in general. I took over the NIAC baseball program as a 26-year-old. Was there for 11 years, learned a lot. Go in as a young guy, you think you know a lot, and you really don't until it's in your hands and you're making the decision. So it gave me a great chance to grow, and I feel like I was able to do that. And starting year 12 at Kirkwood, and just love the place that I'm at. Tremendous school, work with great people in the administration. I have an unbelievable staff that work with me. So I feel like I'm very, very fortunate. I've had a very fortunate career. The places that I've landed, every step has gone the way that I would have hoped. So I feel very blessed to be in the position that I'm in.
Coach, before we dig into your current program, I want to know, did you always want to be a coach? Was that something that was always on your radar, or something, like you said, you kind of just want to be around the game and just kept having opportunities?
That's a great question. I always thought about other careers growing up, but when I was young, I was in the dugout. My dad was a coach. My dad was my coach. He coached collegiately with Rick Heller at Upper Iowa for a couple of years, and that's just what you knew. So the older you got and the more you got into it competitive, I think you just understand, like, wow, I want to stay in it. How can I stay in the game? And then once you get into coaching, you see the impact that you can make with young people and how you can help them grow and just they grow as people, and then how it impacts you and what it does for you in your life. And For me, once I got started, it was a no-brainer. That's what I wanted to do. And I could not have chosen a better career. And like I said, I just have been very fortunate for the places that I've worked at and who I've worked with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think all of us coaches have different paths and ways that we kind of get to where we ultimately are. I know in my experience, I never planned on being a college coach. The only reason I started coaching is it was an avenue to finish off my college degree. You know, a necessary evil to throw a lot of BP and hit fungos and get my last year of college paid for. And ultimately, you know, my biggest takeaway, I just even know as a 21-year-old trying to figure out how to coach in college, I just I thought all those kids, you know, I was fortunate enough. I played 4 years of college, had a cup of coffee in the independent leagues for a year. And probably the biggest thing that impacted me is I just realized a lot of these players were way better than what I was at that same age. And probably no different than parenting. Like, you try to take them through the trials and tribulations, you try to help them avoid maybe some of the mistakes we made as individuals or opportunities we missed out. And that's kind of where I took to it. I knew they were better than me. I knew if I could give them good coaching and good tutelage that they would have chances if they wanted to take advantage to play a hell of a lot longer than I played, and ultimately was the goal.
That sounds like the proverbial giving back to the game sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't go into coaching, I was going to own a bar. Um, I don't know which avenue would have been.
What would have that bar been called, Rob?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. We try to keep this at least a PG rated show. Like, so it'd been
That
something
bar,
pretty snazzy.
that bar will
It'd
sell
been
root beer
cool.
too. It's fine.
Yeah, the appetizer menu would have been extensive for sure. So, so obviously, a JUCO season's a long season. The advantage of junior college is being able to really fully take advantage of the fall. Kind of take us through your fall and what your transition looks like now as the weather starts to change and you go inside, and how that correlates into getting ready for the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the things that we do are a little unique for a 2-year school with how many games we can play. We don't take advantage of that. We only played 7 games this fall. And with 3 of those being showcases, for us, that's very important that we want to get our guys seen. They come to Kirkwood to be recruited. That's why they're here. They come here to get to the highest level possible. So we want to make sure that we put them in front of as many coaches as we can in the fall. The other thing we did is we played Iowa Western. We want to see great competition. We want our kids to see that. So when they're prepared for the showcases, or they get to a showcase, they are prepared. The other thing that we do a lot of then is we inter squad a lot. We will scrimmage, 2 to 3 times a week, other than our games that we're playing other people. And the reason we like to do that, we play each other, is one, now we got more guys on the field, and every guy is going to play. We're going to get all of our pitchers. They're going to face live hitters every single week. And then the best part about it is we can stop practice. Something doesn't go right, and we're playing somebody else in outside competition, you're not going to be able to stop it and teach it. And we like to do it this way. Something comes up, we can stop it really quick. We teach it. Maybe we do a rep of it and we jump right back into our game. So we're really big in going about it that way. I think playing less outside for us has been good because we're playing more, but then there's a lot of attention to detail when you get to do that. And just to be able to coach in those settings and coach and make sure they understand, our players understand what we feel is important for that day, we can do that. And then, off of that, with our scrimmages, we can do it. We can make whatever's the priority that day. If it's, for us, we don't play a lot of scrimmages where it's 4-3 and we're counting how many runs have been scored. Our our scoreboard could be 78 to 65, depending on what we're scoring that day. So there's a lot that goes into it. And what we want them to understand then is, what we do and why this is what's important. What it'll lead to is runs on the board in the future, in the spring, or less runs when we're on defense. So we do it that way a little bit, where we have some more control over it. And then right now we're into our development phase. Our individuals, we call them, small groups. This to us, for our program, is our bread and butter. Like we want to develop, we want to get better. What can we do with this time right now where each player can grow as an individual? So when they get into the spring, they're in the best shape of their lives. They feel good about all their movements, but they're confident. Like, how do you build confidence? Is just having them have success individually where they believe in what they're doing. And so from our standpoint right now, like, this is our favorite part of the year. This is our part where we think we can make the biggest jump, and you get to start seeing guys do things that they haven't done before. They start to have some more success. That gets us excited. And that's when the players get excited, not only practice wise with the pitching and hitting, but in the weight room, guys getting after it in the weight room and seeing, strength grow and just all the things that come a part of it. So for us right now, this is where we tell our team, this is where we decide our season. You decide your season right now on the improvements that you make, because once you get into the season, you're kind of who you are, so what can we do right now before in this part of the development phase to make sure that we put ourselves in a position to have success in the spring.
Not to move the target away from the fall here, but from a broader picture and the recruiting landscape that we've all seen with the roster sizes, recruiting rules changes, how has Kirkwood, and what have you seen maybe across the board been a part of some of the recruiting stuff that's been happening?
Yeah, well, I think what's going on in the NCAA is so unique. And what makes it unique is nobody has any answers yet. You call four-year schools and you ask them the situation and you get advice from them, and they tell you, we don't know what to tell you. This is what we hear today. Maybe they hear something different. So I think we're all learning right now. I think it's been unique with a couple things. I think there's two different dynamics for us. I think it's, the number one dynamic is our players being recruited. That's key for us. That's number one for us. Like, where are they going to be able to go? And I think that's been unique this year. I think that our guys are still being heavily recruited, but I think it's done a little bit different. And I think it's a little faster right now. I think people are saying, hey, we might have 34 spots. If you're coming here, you got to decide now. And I think it's making it to where there's a little more pressure on our players to make a decision instead of taking a little more time and seeing what is out there. So that's been a little bit unique from that standpoint. I think we are recruiting and signing players right now that maybe we wouldn't have signed a year or two ago. I think the high school kid right now could be cheated a little bit because of this. With the portal, you got the junior college kid. I think we've signed some high school kids right now that are coming to our place that are Division I players, and they had no Division I offers. So you feel that's changing things a little bit. So I'm really anxious. I think right now everybody is a little confused. They're waiting to see how this is going to work out. I think 2 or 3 years from now, it's going to be great. And I think what it's going to do is college baseball is going to be the best it's ever been at every level, because the Division I schools, instead of somebody starting with 65 kids, they're going to have 34 to 40 or whatever they decide. Well, those other 15 kids have to go to another place, right? And now it trickles down to where baseball is going to get better and better. It's going to be harder to be a college baseball player. And what we're going to see is our level, which I think has gotten better every year, is just going to continue to grow. And junior college baseball is going to be at even a higher level than it already is.
When you're out on the recruiting trail and you're looking for guys, is there kind of an MO or a mold or a certain type of guy that you're looking for that kind of fits your guys' strengths at Kirkwood?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things for us. Obviously talent is very, very important, right? And what are you looking for? What type of talent are you looking for? We're looking for the student athlete that can grow, that we think we can make better, right? They're coming to your place to go on. They want to try to get to that Division I level. Well, if that's who we want to be, then we have to be able to develop that student athlete. And do they have a skill set that allows us to help them grow? So that becomes very, very important to us. Like their movements, their actions, the way they play. Yes, they have to play hard. They have to have a great attitude, right? Like all those things are important. We all know that. But they also have to have a skill set where there's room for growth. Because if there isn't, then they're not going to be able to get to the level they want. And they should just go to the 4-year school right away and settle in at a place. So we're looking for those type of guys. I want to find the guys that are athletic. We have a goal offensively. We want to steal 100 bases and hit 100 homers. Well, you have to have athletic, physical guys to be able to do that offensively. So that is something that we're looking for. On the mound, like we're looking for guys that have the potential to throw harder. Down the road, that's going to help them be recruited. Yes, we have to pitch. Yes, we can't walk people. We all know that. But if I'm calling a school with a guy that's throwing 86 and I'm calling a guy with a guy that's throwing 93, guess who they're going to take, right? Like, so can we pitch at that higher velocity? Those are all the things that we're looking at is, can we find those guys that will do that? And then I would tell you guys, the biggest thing for me is they have to love baseball. They have to love to play. They have to love to practice. With us putting so much emphasis on the developmental side, if you don't love to practice, it's just not the fit for you. Like you don't want to be at Kirkwood, and you have to really love it. You have to embrace, like we talk about being obsessed about getting better. And I think those guys come in and they just crush our program. They make strides, they get better, and they're able to go on. So those are the things that I think we are really looking for. And we've had success with those guys. We find athletic guys that want to compete. They love to play, and they come in and work hard. And most of them find a great place to go on to.
From current roster, key returners, that sort of thing on your program right now, who in this fall, who are you relying on going in the spring? Who stood out to you? Give us a few names that, that caught your attention.
Yeah, for us, in the fall, returning-wise offensively, Addison Benny. Addison had a really good freshman year. Addison is that guy that did everything that you asked in the offseason and has just grown leaps and bounds and had a great fall for us. He's committed to Ohio State, and he's really earned that. I mean, Addison Benny is one of the most improved players in our program. Clayton Campadilli is going to be a key middle of the order bat, big juice, came in way better shape than I've ever seen him. Felt bad for him, got injured this fall and wasn't able to play in a lot of the showcases, and that hurt a little bit with his recruiting. Was still able to find a great place, which I'm really proud of him for that. But Clayton can hit it. We've all seen when Clayton barrels up a ball, it's pretty fun to watch. And then Cal Sullivan, our starting catcher. Cal is, you always have a kid in your program like they're that guy, and that's Cal for us. I mean, he is the heart and soul of our team. He's the leader. He's the guy that the pitching staff rallies around. He's the guy that the offense rally around. And there's just something about that kid that is infectious, that you want to be around him. Unbelievable talent, but just an off-the-charts kid and leader that I love having in our program. And then we returned 2 first-team All-Region pitchers. Andrew Carroll was first-team All-Region starter. That Andrew knows how to pitch as well as anybody I've ever coached. He's not going to overpower you. He's going to be 88 to 90, but he's going to throw 3 pitches for a strike, and he can throw them at any time. And then Bodie Ray was first-team All-Region out of the bullpen last year. And Bodie was a surprise. He came on. He was coming off an injury in high school and just redshirted and just got better and better as the year went on. And just another great kid that works hard. And so those are kind of some of the core guys that are back, and they all had really good falls. I felt bad for Campadilli with this. He got hit by a pitch, but he's back and healthy now and looks great.
I maybe have missed that crossing the waiver wire. Where is Campadilli committed to now?
He is committed to USC Upstate.
Awesome.
That was a pro case participant, right, Rob?
He was. He was on my. He was on the prep baseball spring league team as well. Both him and Addison. So I had the pleasure of babysitting those two yahoos for 6 weekends in a row. But no, both all the guys that Coach mentioned, as I've been around a majority of them, they're all really good kids. Which I say that they're growing into men now, but yeah, definitely good kids, good baseball players. So you had kind of mentioned those guys, Coach. Like, what's your philosophy, or what do you guys do recruiting wise, like geography? Like, do you kind of break it up geography? What's more important to you? Like, kind of how do you guys grab all the talent that you've been able to grab?
Yeah, I think for us, our number one goal every year is we want to try to win the state of Iowa. We want to get the best Iowa kids to come to Kirkwood, and we feel we have a great setup here. We feel, with what we can do development wise, we can help those student athletes. So that's our goal from number one. It fits with us budget wise, how you set it up. It fits with us as a school that we believe in recruiting the Iowa student athlete. So that's a big part. If you look at our roster, we've had success before going to a World Series and 90% of our roster being from the state of Iowa. Where we'll have over 75% typically Iowa kids. And as you know, Rob, at your events, like, we are going to put a major emphasis on getting the best kids in the state. And like, our recruiting class right now is Iowa kids and a couple Minnesota kids. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. It's very, very heavy Iowa. And I think those Iowa kids have pride. They have pride when they come to Kirkwood, and it means something to them. And it really means a lot to us that they feel that way. And for them to choose us, there's a lot of great options in this state to go play is always pretty impressive from our end, that we get a chance to work with them. We appreciate them believing in what we do. So yeah, I would say it starts right here at home in Iowa.
You're on paper right now. Your 2025 recruiting class is pretty salty. All your assistant coaches deserve a significant raise.
They've done an unbelievable job, and Pete Lauritsen has led that. We've had a couple coaches were able to get some new jobs and go to higher levels. But Pete is my right-hand man, and he is incredible. He is out all summer. He doesn't only work hard, but he just has an eye for talent and understands and knows what we're looking for and what fits us, not only offensively, what he's working with, but on the pitching side. And yeah, I mean, I think the 25 class could possibly be one of our best classes we've ever had.
Once you guys get past the holidays, go into the spring, I think everyone, at least in Iowa, is aware of what a beast the ICAC is baseball wise. Kind of, what is your outlook, and what are your guys' goals moving forward and getting ready for the spring of 25?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we have to get better every single day. And I know that's coach talk, but that's real. Like, we believe in the process. We believe in trying to improve and control the things that we can control. And one thing that we do is we try to play a really tough schedule. I'm not into us having the most wins in the NJCA. Yeah, we're going to try to compete and win, but we're going to go out and play people early and challenge ourselves and play Division I junior colleges and play top 5 teams of D2 and that have been outside. And you're going to get in a bus and go play them in the South. And you hope it goes well, and it may not, but you're going to grow, because the ultimate thing is that you're playing your best baseball at the end of the year. And to get through our conference, there's not a conference game that you're going to play that if you're not ready, you're going to lose if you're not ready to go. And there's just tremendous coaches in our league. The schools are putting more and more into making them better. Everybody's working at it. It's an awesome league to be in. I think there's 2 leagues that are the best in the country, and I think we're one of them. And there's just no doubt in my mind. And so from that standpoint, getting to play in that league every day is helpful for our guys, because it prepares them for the 4-year level and seeing good arms and facing good hitters every time out as a pitcher. So, for us, it's all about growth. Everybody wants to be the one that wins the last game, and you want to, get to Enid, Oklahoma. I mean, I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you our players want to get to Enid, Oklahoma. That's definitely a goal of ours. But here's the deal: we play Seward County in early February. Like, let's win game one. Let's try to get ready for game one, and then improve every single day. And I feel like our teams have done that in the past as we get better as the year goes on, and we're typically playing our best baseball at the end, and that would be the goal for this year. And if we're doing that, then we got a chance.
Absolutely.
I know that, we've got uncommitted players and parents listening to this podcast, and you've done an extremely good job at selling the program as a whole throughout this. But if you could give me an elevator pitch to a player who is, possibly at your level, interested in Kirkwood, what would be your concise summary of why they should be coming to Kirkwood?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would tell them, Parker, is look at everywhere. I mean, we have so many great options. We're not different than others. Like, everybody's really good, right? Like, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything that, like, we don't have a special sauce that we do. What we do works for us, and what works for us is develop. And I think you have to look at proof. And last year we had 27 players playing Division I baseball, and that was the most in Division II junior college. So from our standpoint, like, when somebody comes on our campus, they don't ever hear me talk about wins and losses, because that doesn't matter for a kid coming to our level. They're not coming to Kirkwood. If they're coming to Kirkwood to win games, we're going to the wrong place. We'll win when we get here, right? But you have to go to where you're going to get better. You have to develop so you can get on. So that is, for me, the big thing. Like, look at the proof. Look at what we've done. Look at what we've done offensively. Look at the guys that we've sent on. And then most importantly, that I would tell them, they're going to be cared more about a person than they are a player. And I think that's important. I've had two of my kids go on and be student athletes, and I know as a parent how those kids are treated and how those kids are coached is very, very important. And that doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, right? But what does that look like? So I think at Kirkwood, those are things, and we work at a great college. I mean, we're very fortunate to work at an unbelievable place. So I think we develop. I think we send guys on, and I think our guys love it here. When they tell you they wish it was a 4-year school, then you feel like you've done something right, and that's what we want to have happen.
I loved how you entered into that question, because obviously for me, I get that question a lot. Like, a parent, a player, I want to go to junior college. Who's the best junior college in Iowa? Where should I go? And I do think every school, every coaching staff, every community, what they have for facilities, their mindset, how they build culture. Like, I think all the schools in Iowa are so uniquely different. And I don't mean it as like a PC answer or to not be direct with them, but kind of what you said, like, you have to visit these places. You have to look at the nuances and the differences, and ultimately just try to make an educated guess in regards to your landing spot and what's going to put you in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I don't like when someone tells me, well, I'm not going to visit other places. No, I want you to look at other places. Make sure you look at other places. So if you do choose us, then we know it's the best fit for you. You're not going to know if you're not going to look. So I love when hey, I got 4 or 5 visits set up. What do you think of that? I love that. Like, go visit them, take your time. We're not in deadlines. We don't believe in timelines at our place. Like, guys take their time to make a decision. We want them to make the best decision for them. And ultimately, I think as a college coach, that's what we want for every student athlete. Like, yeah, we want to get the best player, but we also want them to have the best experience and go to the place that's the right fit for them.
Absolutely.
All right, Coach, here's your take it to the house question. You guys are on a long bus trip, right? And you're in control of the bus. You get to drive it to any restaurant, any food stop you want. You're famished. Where are you going? What are you eating?
Wow, where are we going? Well, I'm also in charge of the budget. So that would probably dictate a little bit. I would prefer a nice steak, but I would probably do Cane's. I would do Cane's because they do a great job. Chick-fil-A does a great job where you call ahead, they have it ready. It's quick. The guys all like it. So I think hopefully we just got you guys a sponsor.
Tons of protein in that one. That's a good pick. Rob, did you have a go-to that you liked, or what did you guys end up doing? Just whatever's closest.
We actually hit a few like Ryan's buffets, Golden Corral, stuff like that. Like I always thought those are good, just because of all the various stuff you could get yourself into.
Chocolate fountain.
I do always remember like when I worked at Iowa Western, Mark Reardon had this epiphany for Long John Silver's. Like he just loves tartar sauce for some reason. And it was always good. You know, I'd get like my little cod fillet dinner or whatever, and like it was always good, but that was never going to be like my number one priority. I wasn't going to base my life around tartar sauce, but yeah, definitely some buffets are always really good. Otherwise, pretty McDonald's always serves its purpose. Like I like McDonald's.
Can't go wrong. Yeah.
No.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate all the insight and you chopping it up with us. And, we wish you the best of luck at Kirkwood this season. And we'll be following a lot of your team and a lot of the players.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having on. But most importantly, thanks for what you guys do for Iowa baseball players. I can't tell you how often we're on your website. We're looking up things. You just do a tremendous job. And I think it's just continued to get better. And I'm not sure anybody does it as good as you two. So I just want to tell you thanks. And we appreciate you. And I hope the state of Iowa understands what you guys do for all the young players that are trying to be recruited. So thanks for doing that.
No, I really appreciate that. And please pass on to your assistants. Tell them I said hello, and look forward to running into you guys in the future.
Sounds good, guys. Have a great day.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right,
Coach.
It's another episode of Canaccord Podcast. We will see you all soon.